The Stone Man is a name given to a serial killer who is believed to have been responsible for killing as many as 26 people in a span of 4 years, from 1985 to 1989. These murders took place in Bombay and later in Calcutta. There is no concrete evidence to suggest that it was the same killer operating in both the cities, but the nature of killings and the choice of victims seemed to suggest the same. The first hint of a serial killer who was targeting homeless rag pickers and beggars in India came from Bombay. Starting in 1985 and lasting well over 2 years, a series of 12 murders were committed in the Sion and King Circle locality of the city. The criminal's mode of operation was simple. First, he would find an unsuspecting victim sleeping alone in a desolate area. The victim's head was crushed with a single stone weighing as much as 30 kgs. In most cases, the victims' identities could not be ascertained since they slept alone and did not have relatives or associates who could identify them. Compounded to this was the fact that the victims were people of very simple means and the individual crimes were not high profile. It was only after the sixth murder that the Bombay police began to see a pattern in these crimes. A homeless waiter survived one of the Stone Man's attacks and managed to escape and report it to the police. However, in the dimly lit area of Sion where he was sleeping, he had not been able to get a good look at his assailant. Shortly afterwards, in 1987, a rag picker was hacked to death in the adjoining suburb of Matunga. Even though the police and the media suspected the Stone Man killer, no evidence linking the incidents was ever found. In the middle of 1988, the killing suddenly stopped and the case remained unsolved. Summer of 1989 in Calcutta. Whether or not the Bombay killings were linked to the Calcutta Stone Man killings has never been confirmed. However, the similarity in the instrument, choice of victims, execution, and the time of the attack suggests the assailant was familiar with the Bombay episodes, if not the same killer himself. The first victim in Calcutta died from injuries to the head in June 1989. 12 more murders attributed to the Stone Man were reported within the following 6 months. All of the murdered were homeless pavement dwellers who slept alone in dimly lit areas of the city. Most of the murders took place in central Calcutta, adjoining the Howrah Bridge. Because the murderer killed victims by dropping a heavy stone or concrete slab, the police assumed that the assailant was probably a tall, well-built male. However, in the absence of any eyewitness description, no confirmed physical description ever became available. Police were deployed into various parts of the city and numerous arrests were made. After a spell of arrests in which a handful of suspicious persons were detained for questioning, the killing suddenly stopped. However, citing lack of evidence, the suspects were released into the public. The crimes remain unsolved.